You don't just buy land and throw a match and magic happens, right? There's more to it than that. It's not like you just saw this and were like, I'm gonna burn this down. Through the course of our exploration of longleaf pine ecosystems, we've gone way back. We've discussed how these ecosystems once ranged over 90 million acres across the southeastern United States, containing some really incredible species, some of which we've featured. But we can't talk about longleaf pine ecosystems without mentioning the threats. These range from logging and the turpentine industry way back when to the present day, where slash pine plantations and development have shrunk this ecosystem to less than 4% of what there once was. Fortunately, the story doesn't end there. Tom and Helen Roth are two private landowners who are in the process of transforming habitat that looks like this to this. Let's talk to the woman who worked tirelessly to make this habitat transition possible, Helen Roth. Hey Helen, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Oh, it's good to be back here. Tell me a little bit about where we're standing right now.
Well, we're standing at Spring Canyon. It's a 100-acre parcel. I purchased the property from my brother's estate back in 2009. And from there, I started on a long learning process because I really didn't know anything about longleaf pine ecosystems.
How far would I be able to see when you first bought this property right here?
Oh, about to you. It was just solid. To get from the overlook over here to here, I wasn't quite sure how to even navigate.
You'd have to have a machete or something.
Somewhere over there. Yeah. Here we go. I call this my reference area because this is the section that inspired me to restore the rest of the property. While my brother came in and did a hardwood harvest in 2000, he did not follow up with burning. So by the time I took over, all the hardwoods that had been cut were resprouting and had grown above my head.
Back at square one,
and
basically.
And it was just getting back to square one, yeah. So this was one area that he had burned. So it's only about an acre large, but you can see that extra time that it had with light on the ground and stimulation of fire. The wiregrass is really flourishing.
There's wiregrass
here.
Everywhere. It's throughout this area.
Yes.
I imagine this kind of gave you hope, like, whoa, we can do something here.
Yeah.
But what was next?
Well, what was next is I got someone to come in and do a burn. And what we found in those areas with the hardwood is all the pine needles were hung up in the trees. Mm-hmm. They weren't getting to the ground, and it didn't burn very well. The laurel oaks just laughed at me. So then it became clear that I was going to have to do some hardwood removal. Those that I couldn't do with loppers, we did with chainsaw. I started off needing somebody with a gas chainsaw to do it, and then I said, the heck with this. I can't pull, the pull cord, but I can do a battery-operated chainsaw. So that gave me my independence.
I hope you guys realize that Helen's not just talking about this tiny little area we're standing in. This goes on forever.
And this time, after doing the clearing, we followed up with burn.
You're not a fire ecologist by trade, correct?
Education, real estate, computers.
So what you're telling me is you're just interested in this. You have no background, but you had the vision and you wanted.
I was interested in learning more about the property and what I needed to do to be a good steward. As soon as I found the first pyramid magnolia, which I didn't know what it was, but then I read it was an endangered species, the light bulb went off and I said, oh, that means I need to learn more plants because you can't protect a plant if you can't identify it.
Let's start diving into some of the species that have responded. So I noticed something behind you as you were talking.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. Obviously I'm seeing a lot of wiregrass, I'm seeing some bracken fern come up, but look at this. I mean, that's a healthy milkweed plant we have here.
Yeah.
And so it's popping back up, probably in response to the work you've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember that recently you emailed me a photo.
Well, I found the Florida pine snake. So that's pretty cool too. There are a lot of species that are moving into this environment just because if you build it, they will come. I have the habitat. And that's all I can do is build a habitat and let the wildlife and the other plants take advantage of it.
Helen, I don't know if I'm ever going to have much money. I mean, my track record does not suggest this, but let's say I do. Let's say I win the lottery, and I want to buy some land that was once a part of the longleaf pine ecosystem. What would you tell me? I mean, what advice would you give to a landowner who has land with potential but doesn't know what to do?
First of all, you want to talk to different government agencies who might be able to give you guidance in what you could do with the property and what cost share programs might be available.
Sure.
So I would recommend getting involved with groups like Native Plant Society to help you identify the plants, and use other resources to learn more about the wildlife. What are their needs? What do you need to do to provide for those needs? So it's a learning process, and you don't learn it overnight. You just learn it gradually as you go along, and you just hope you don't do anything to mess it up along the way.
You fly by the seat of your pants, but you've got some
Absolutely.
co-pilots along the way.
Yes.
Gotcha. This story, to me, is about as inspiring as it gets, because here's Helen, a great person, but no real background in any of this. All you did was care. I mean, she just cared about bringing this ecosystem back. And you look back 20, 30 years, and there was less longleaf pine ecosystem than there is today. And the reason is that not only government agencies, but even private landowners like Helen and her husband Tom care enough to bring the ecosystem back. And if that doesn't fill you with hope and optimism for the future of this incredible ecosystem, then I don't know what else would. Well, that about wraps it up for season 2 of Wild Wonder. You know, we hear a lot about the importance of protecting habitats like tropical rainforests, and yeah, I totally agree, that's super important. But in terms of species diversity, the longleaf pine ecosystem is essentially the tropical rainforest of our own backyards. I hope you've enjoyed diving in and exploring these special and important ecosystems with me. Hold on a second. Oh, I just love old growth longleaf pine. That might have been too overt, but I don't really care. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and until next time, happy wandering.
This segment's sponsored by Tall Timbers. The mission of Tall Timbers is to foster exemplary land stewardship through research, conservation, and education. To learn more, visit talltimbers.org.